I was written up for abandoning post. No, I'm not in the military. I was 20 years old, working as a host at a restaurant so bad that my manager was drinking a beer at 2 p.m. during my interview. I should have walked out right then, but I needed extra cash for college, so I took the job anyway. I was already working full-time as a waiter at another place I actually liked. This was just supposed to be a side gig for extra money. My job was super simple. Seat people, tell the servers they had a table, sweep the floor near the front. About a week after I got hired, I was standing at the host stand during that dead time between lunch and dinner. The restaurant was basically empty, maybe 3 tables. Then I heard this loud crash outside. I looked through the window and saw a car had been sideswiped by a semi-truck and slammed into a telephone pole right in front of our parking lot. I told one of the servers to call 911 and sprinted out the door. I ran across the entire parking lot to get to the car. When I got there was a woman inside looking terrified. I checked on her and thankfully she was just shaken up but not hurt. The truck driver was already out calling 911. Other people had stopped to help too. Once I saw everything was being handled, I ran back inside. The whole thing took maybe 5 minutes. I walked through the door and the manager is standing at the empty host stand with his arms crossed. He goes, "Where did you go?" I said there was a car accident outside and I went to make sure everyone was okay. He just stares at me and goes, "Why did you feel the need to do that?" I was so confused. Because I'm a human being? Because someone could have been dying? But before I could say anything, he goes, "I have to write you up for abandoning your post." Then he reminded me that one more write-up in my first month means I'm fired. I was too angry to even argue. When I got home, I told my dad the whole story. He was laughing but also furious. He kept shaking his head going, "He wrote you up for checking on an accident? Are you serious?" My dad suggested I just quit and focus on my other job. But I had a better idea. Why should I quit and make it easy for this guy? If he wanted me gone so bad for being a decent person, he was going to have to fire me himself, and I was going to make it as annoying as possible. My next shift was Friday night during dinner rush. This was the busiest time of the whole week, and I was the only host scheduled. Perfect. I showed up an hour late on purpose. When I walked through the door, the place was chaos. There was a line of people waiting to be seated. The manager was standing at the host stand looking like he was about to explode. His face was bright red. The second he saw me, he started screaming. He's yelling at me in front of all these customers about how irresponsible I am and how I left him hanging on the busiest night of the week. People in line are just staring with their mouths open. I let him finish his whole rant. Then I asked real calm, "Am I going to get written up for this?" He gets even louder and goes, "You bet your ass you're getting written up." I smiled and said, "Oh no, that means I'm fired then, right? One more write-up in my first month? I guess I'm fired." I turned around and walked right back out the door. I could hear him yelling something behind me, but I didn't even look back. I just got in my car and drove home. When I got there, my dad was sitting on the back porch. I told him what happened and he started cracking up. He went inside and came back with 2 glasses of whiskey and a couple cigars. We sat out there for hours talking and laughing about the whole thing. He kept saying he was proud of me for not just taking it. That manager wanted to power trip over a kid who did the right thing, and instead he got stuck working the Friday dinner rush by himself. I found out later that the manager had to work the host stand until close. They didn't have anyone else to cover. He was seating people, running food, and apparently yelling at everyone the whole night. 3 servers quit within the next month. That place closed down about a year later. Shocking, I know.